Hey everybody, Edo here, and this is Quartex. Now, the good folks at CSE Games sent me along a copy to play, and I had a chance to play with Emily and some friends, and had a good time. So Quartex is a abstract puzzle tile-laying game where you're competitive, playing 2 to 5 players. It takes about half an hour, but you're trying to score the most points by earning the most tokens by laying tiles and making shapes. So each tile has a shape on each corner, and they're pretty cool. They're reversible, so and with the sort of inverse. So playing actually requires you to be looking at both sides of the tile and thinking it through. But anyway, you play your tile, and each tile must play exactly. So if you look at the board, you must connect the purple or the teal or the red such that you don't have any mismatches. And so, you can be in places, each player has 5 tiles, you can be in places where you can't play anything, or, only one flip permutation of your piece can be played. So in this case, I might look around and flip and say, oh, okay, I can play this here. And in that case, I would have earned one of these tokens. Tokens are scored at the end of the game. Very interesting dynamic in this game is that each token is worth the size of the remaining stack. Super cool, actually. Like, people are going to use that in the future, I think. But what that means is when I have 1, if there were 10 to start, I've taken 1, and now there are 9, so it's worth 9. But now I have 2, there are 8 left, so this is worth 8 plus 8. This is worth 16. So interesting dynamic there as people are playing, and you're sort of working to get, different points and going after colors you might not already have, or that kind of thing. So so this game is fun. It's a game where you have to do a lot of abstract thinking and sort of the fun of trying to match shapes, right? It reminds me a lot of a game called Cirplexed that Susan McKinley Ross made. In that game, it's almost the same thing but with circles, and you're trying to maximize your score in front of you. So every player is sort of playing their own hand or own tile set. In this game, it's competitive, and it brings about some interesting dynamics, one of which is it sort of has that, I don't know if you're familiar with the game, but it's a game where everyone's trying to draw lines to make squares, and when you make a square, you score it. And half of the game is trying not to let other people score off your mistakes. There is that dynamic here where you don't want to leave 3 of that 4th so that another player scores. And I think some people get really caught up on that. I know Tom Vasso did a review where he was just like, this doesn't work for me. But I think if you're willing to just sort of let that go and just try to maximize your score and play with the people you're playing with, it works. It's fun. I like thinking about colors and shapes and trying to figure out where to put things. Like, that's something I enjoy. If you enjoy that kind of play, you'll love this game. It's loads of that. But anyway, you have an interesting scoring at the end. You're laying down your tiles. You're playing with other people. It works all right because if somebody gets stuck, they can't play anything. You reveal their board, and then other players can help them play a tile before they take more. That can be really helpful in that, it sort of forces a player to play a move they might not otherwise want to do, or help a younger player. It requires a pretty good amount of thought. You can scale it down a little. I think the box says 10 and up. Ethan was okay. You can go a little higher, but don't let bright colors say it's for 4 or 5. I mean, it requires a good amount. There are a lot of permutations. I mean, you're like 5 tiles, flipping them, turning them. It's a lot to think about. So we had a good time. I recommend this game, especially if you like sort of shape matching and sort of thinking about that kind of visual puzzle. It's really satisfying to those types of players. If you're just trying to be the person who wins and is really aggressive about it, I think you might get frustrated by some of those other dynamics. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review. Please subscribe, share, all that jazz. But more importantly, play some good games. Thanks. Bye.